Hey everyone, today's a sad day. I just heard that James Earl Jones has passed away at the age of 93. The good thing, he was at home with his family, surrounded by loved ones, and you can only hope that in your final days it's a gentle passing and that you're surrounded by the people who matter most in the world to you. And my heart goes out to his family. It's never easy to lose somebody that you love, someone so integral to your family. It's going to be a long recovery, and there honestly will be days where you never expect it, but suddenly you feel better, and then you never expect it, and suddenly you're crying. And I do feel badly for them. I would also like to just thank them and thank James Earl Jones for all that he has contributed over the years to telling stories that matter, to telling stories that shape people's lives and impact people and are meaningful to our understanding of ourselves and the world around us, because that's really what stories do, is they help to convey those things. When I was a kid and I first watched Star Wars, and I realized like Dave Prowse was in the body of Darth Vader, but it was James Earl Jones's voice, just that tenor and the way it resonates and just the sound of it that made me feel something, made me feel terrified and scared and excited. And it made me feel like the people in that film were really in danger. There was just something about the way he spoke that just resonated deep inside. And and I didn't know what he looked like. He had a mask on. At that time, I didn't even know Dave Prowse was in the suit. I was way too young to know the difference. It wasn't until I was a bit older when I learned that, that wasn't actually James Earl Jones in the suit and that it was two different people. But here's the thing, like, he was the first villain. He was my first villain. And it was the first time that I ever realized that villains could be heroes and that villains were often the heroes of their own stories. And sometimes villains were just tortured heroes that fell down at some point in their trajectory and didn't know how to get back up again and didn't know how to recover from it. And so watching the original Star Wars trilogy with James Earl Jones as Vader, and realizing that here's this man who was amazing and great, and then he fell from grace, and then his son, out of basically nowhere, appears and gives him a second chance. And it just impacted me. It affected me deeply. And I never really forgot James Earl Jones. He was always integral for me as one of the key figures in that story. And I remember the first time I watched him, like really, really watched him in a movie. It was Conan the Barbarian. And he played Thulsa Doom, and just watching him, the way he moved, the sureness of his pose and his body and his face, and the way his eyes tracked in the camera, and the words that he spoke and how he spoke them. It just gave me the chills. It gave me this whole different understanding of who this man was. And then, of course, you start watching the other films, or at least I did. I started watching his other films, his other TV series. Um, and then also, of course, he was the voice of Mufasa in The Lion King. And he also played Malcolm X. I think that was in the film The Greatest. I think that was the film that he was in. I mean, there was just so many stories. If you look back at his career, at the legacy of film and television that he created throughout his life, I mean, it's dozens upon dozens upon dozens of stories that he has created, that he built these characters. He brought them to life. He made them real. And he conveyed those people and their emotions and their experiences to us through the screen. And it was powerful. It's meaningful. And he mattered. He mattered to a lot of people. And it's moments like this when you look back at how, or when I look back at how a single person who I never met actually affected me. And I do think he is one of the reasons why I started wanting to write or why I wanted to start telling stories. I mean, I grew up tough, tough beginning, had a real tough beginning. And then you see stories like that of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader. And if he can make it out of that, I could make it out. You could make it out. And honestly, that's what that's what the Star Wars legacy is all about. And that's what all of those original actors brought with them to the screen. They brought themselves, they brought their story, their talent, and they gave us a film that was unlike anything we'd ever seen before. And whether it was a small part or a large part, whether it was a character who redefined what it meant to fail and then succeed, or what it meant to be a villain, but also a hero. I mean, this is James Earl Jones's legacy, and this is what he has left to us. And I know a lot of people will have a lot of things to say, but I just hope that as we look back, we maybe look at some of the other films in his career, some of those other films that were meaningful, where he played hard characters, tough characters. And when you look at the end of his life and all the things that he did, really what he made was stories. And stories are the greatest gift that any person can give to another person, because you're giving a part of yourself. You're giving learning, you're giving understanding, you're giving compassion, you're giving experience. And that's one of the things that he gave to me as a viewer, as a kid, as a person in a theater, swept away by the majesty on the screen and all the things that that means and all the things that encompasses. So, James Earl Jones, you mattered. You are an amazing man, and you will not be forgotten. Thank you for all you've given. And to everyone else out there, if you'd like to leave a note in the comments about James Earl Jones or what he meant to you, or some quote or something that just matters to you, please feel free to do that. And please try to be respectful. This was a great man. And I know not everybody is keen on Star Wars right now. There are a lot of problems with that particular franchise at the moment, but I still love it. But James Earl Jones was a stand-up guy. He was really amazing. So leave a thought, leave a comment. Thank you guys. Bye.